Imagine a river flowing through the ocean, an immense invisible force, moving silently beneath the waves, shaping the world in ways most of us never see. This river is wider than all the world's rivers combined, carrying the heat of 1 million power plants and transporting energy across entire continents. This is the Gulf Stream, a vital artery in the Atlantic Meridional Overturning Circulation, or AMOC, a system so vast, it connects the tropics to the poles. For thousands of years, this powerful current has shaped climates, moderated temperatures, and nurtured life across the planet, from coral reefs to coastal forests. It's a fundamental part of Earth's operating system, quietly regulating weather, rainfall, and the very rhythms of life. Without it, our world would be colder, stormier, and far less hospitable. Europe could freeze and storms could rage with new intensity. But now this powerful current is in trouble, facing threats it has never encountered before. Human-driven climate change is putting it at risk, as our actions warm the planet and disrupt ancient patterns. Melting polar ice is pouring vast amounts of fresh water into the North Atlantic, changing the delicate balance of salt and temperature. This influx of fresh water threatens to shut down the ocean's great engine, slowing the currents that drive our climate. The consequences could be catastrophic, altering weather for billions, triggering more extreme storms, droughts, and floods across the globe. The Gulf Stream story is one of global connection, linking continents, economies, and ecosystems in a delicate dance. Melting ice in Greenland could plunge Europe into a deep freeze, raise seas along the US coast, and disrupt lives everywhere. Everything is linked: atmosphere, oceans, ice, and us. Our fate is tied to these hidden flows. We are now disrupting this delicate balance, pushing the system toward a tipping point. Scientists are no longer just asking, what if? They're seeing warning signs in the data, signals that demand urgent attention. The current has slowed, weaker than it's been in over 1,000 years, and the changes are accelerating. We are sailing into uncharted waters, conducting a dangerous experiment with our only home, with no second chances. The outcome depends on what we do next. Our actions today will echo for generations. The future of our climate and our civilization hangs in the balance, as history and destiny converge at this moment. It's a chilling truth we must face, a reality that demands courage and resolve. The Gulf Stream is more than a current. It's a lifeline for countless species, and for us. If it falters, the world as we know it could change in a single generation. Our coastlines, our weather, our way of life. The time to act is now. Every moment counts, and every choice matters. Our choices will decide the fate of this unseen river. The clock is ticking, and the world is watching. To truly grasp the threat facing our planet, we first need to understand the system at its heart, the Great Conveyor Belt. The ocean acts as Earth's vast heating and cooling system, regulating temperatures across the globe and shaping our climate. The sun's powerful rays warm the surface water near the equator, making it lighter and less dense than the colder water elsewhere. The Gulf Stream, a mighty ocean current, carries this warm water northward, hugging the US coast before crossing the Atlantic to Europe. As the current travels, it releases heat into the atmosphere, warming the air above. This is why London enjoys milder winters than much of Canada, even though they share similar latitudes. Along the way, water evaporates from the ocean's surface, leaving salt behind and making the remaining water even denser. Near Greenland, this now cold, salty water becomes heavy enough to sink deep into the ocean, plunging to the depths of the North Atlantic. This sinking action acts as the engine of the entire system, pulling more warm water northward to replace what has sunk. The cold, dense water then flows southward, deep beneath the surface, traveling vast distances before eventually rising again elsewhere in the world. This global conveyor belt moves not just heat, but also salt and vital nutrients, distributing them around the planet and supporting marine life. It's absolutely vital for climate regulation, helping to maintain stable weather patterns and a livable environment. For thousands of years, this system has run with a steady, reliable rhythm, shaping the world as we know it. This dependable rhythm has allowed civilizations to flourish in regions that would otherwise be far too cold for human settlement or agriculture. But now, human activity is disrupting this ancient cycle, pouring greenhouse gases and pollutants into the atmosphere and oceans. Our actions are throwing a wrench into the gears of this planetary machine, threatening to bring it to a grinding halt. The conveyor belt is slowing, and the signs are becoming impossible to ignore. The consequences could be dramatic, altering weather, sea levels, and life as we know it. Understanding this system is key to understanding our future, and scientists around the world are racing to study its every move. The ocean's engine is faltering, the world is watching, and what happens next will affect us all. The Atlantic Conveyor Belt, a vast system of ocean currents, relies on cold, salty water sinking deep in the North Atlantic. This process is the heartbeat of our planet's climate, driving the movement of heat and nutrients around the globe. But climate change is upsetting this delicate balance, introducing new threats that could disrupt the entire system. Greenland's massive ice sheet is melting at a staggering rate, pouring vast amounts of fresh water into the surrounding ocean every year, much more than ever before in recorded history. Fresh water is less dense than salty water, so it forms a lighter layer on the surface, creating a barrier that changes how the ocean behaves. This blanket of fresh water prevents the warm, salty water below from cooling and sinking as it normally would, disrupting the natural flow. The sinking process, the very engine of the conveyor, gets blocked, and the system begins to falter. If the water doesn't sink, the whole conveyor belt slows down, reducing the transfer of heat and energy across the Atlantic. Enough fresh water could eventually shut the engine down completely, halting the currents that regulate our climate. This isn't just theory. Scientists are out in the field measuring these changes right now. The current is already weakening, and the data is alarming. The more carbon we emit, the more ice melts, and the more fresh water floods into the North Atlantic, accelerating the problem. Each step brings us closer to a tipping point, a threshold beyond which the system may not recover. Once crossed, it could be nearly impossible to reverse, locking in dramatic changes for generations. The risk is real and growing, with scientists and experts sounding the alarm louder than ever. We are pushing the system toward collapse, risking the stability of weather patterns and marine life. The fate of the Gulf Stream, a current that shapes climates on both sides of the Atlantic, hangs in the balance. The world is watching and waiting, aware that what happens here will affect everyone, everywhere. The science is clear. The more we warm the planet, the greater the danger to our oceans, our weather, and our future. The time to act is running out. Every moment counts in the fight to protect our climate system. The engine of the ocean is sputtering, showing signs of strain that cannot be ignored. Will we let it stall, or will we choose a different path? The choice is ours, and the stakes could not be higher. The consequences will be global, touching every continent and every community on Earth. What if the Gulf Stream's warmth vanished from Europe? Winters could drop by 5 to 10 degrees Celsius. London and Paris could feel like Siberia. The UK and Ireland would face harsher cold, shorter growing seasons, and threatened food security. Energy demand would soar, and rivers and ports could freeze, disrupting trade. But it's not just about cold. Weather patterns would become chaotic. Storms could intensify, rainfall could shift, and droughts or floods could become more common. The stable climate that supported European civilization would be gone. This isn't science fiction. Climate models predict it's possible within decades. Societies would have little time to adapt. The economic and social disruption would be immense. A Gulf Stream collapse would redraw Europe's climate map. Every aspect of life would change. The warning signs are already here. While Europe freezes, the US East Coast faces rising seas. The Gulf Stream pulls water away from the coast, keeping sea levels lower. If it weakens, that wall collapses. Water slumps back, raising sea levels by up to a meter. This would worsen flooding in cities like Miami, Charleston, and Boston. Storm surges would become more destructive, threatening homes and infrastructure. Warmer coastal waters could fuel stronger hurricanes. The East Coast faces a triple threat: higher seas, more flooding, and fiercer storms. A distant change in the North Atlantic could devastate local communities. The risks are rising. The time to prepare is now. The collapse of the Atlantic conveyor would send shockwaves through the global climate. The AMOC balances heat between hemispheres. Shutting it down would disrupt this balance. Tropical rain belts could shift, causing droughts in Africa's Sahel and disrupting Asian monsoons. The Amazon could dry, risking dieback and releasing more carbon. The Southern Ocean could warm, accelerating Antarctic melt and sea level rise. Rainfall, agriculture, and water supplies would be thrown into chaos. Food and water shortages, mass migrations, and instability could follow. The world's stable climate is built on this current. Tampering with it shakes our global foundation. The effects would be felt everywhere. How do we know this can happen? Because it has happened before. The Younger Dryas, 12,900 years ago, saw the Atlantic conveyor shut down abruptly. A massive flood of fresh water from melting glaciers stopped the current. Temperatures in Greenland plunged by up to 15 degrees Celsius. Europe was thrown back into near-glacial conditions. Rain belts shifted, causing droughts and floods worldwide. This chaos lasted over 1,000 years. The lesson: the Amok is sensitive to fresh water, and climate can flip quickly. Today, Greenland's melt rivals that ancient flood, year after year. We are recreating the very conditions that triggered past catastrophe. History warns us, tipping points are real. The past could become our future. The future of the Gulf Stream isn't set. We stand at a fork. One path leads to collapse, the other to stability. The choice is ours. To protect the Gulf Stream, we must cut greenhouse gas emissions, fast. That means shifting to clean energy: solar, wind, and renewables. Governments and corporations must act, but so must individuals. Strong policies, global cooperation, and innovation are essential. Our daily choices matter: what we buy, eat, and how we travel. We can demand action from leaders and support sustainable solutions. The challenge is immense, but so is our capacity for change. We've faced great challenges before. The time to act is now. The world is watching. The Gulf Stream story is a cosmic drama, and we are the protagonists. We lit the fire of climate change, but we can choose to put it out. Science gives us foresight. Will we act on it? Humanity's ingenuity has solved great challenges before. We have the technology and resources to build a sustainable future. Imagine cities powered by sun and wind, oceans healthy, and a stable climate. This is within our grasp. We can live in harmony with Earth's systems. Our responsibility is clear: protect this pale blue dot. The cosmos is vast, but our choices matter. Let us be the generation that met the challenge. The future is ours to shape. The time is now.